there, I'm Ariana CP Hunter, real estate broker for su casa, su castillo. And today we're going to be talking about fence. Well, the fence usually doesn't present a problem unless there's a problem. Number one, if the fence is falling down. Number two, if your neighbor wants to change the fence and you don't see there's nothing wrong with it and you don't want to pay because you don't want to incur a cost that you don't need. And then who is responsible for what? All those things, sometimes it is so vague. The law is so vague on this because it drives me crazy. You know, some things are so specific, who's responsible for what, but when it comes to boundaries, there lies the problem. Who's responsible for what? Well, like I said, if it doesn't bother you and you don't want to change, you have to talk this to your neighbors. Some neighbors, they do, if you don't go ahead and agree to change it with them, then go ahead and do it themselves. And they'll be responsible for the changing of it, so they get to do whatever they want with it. And so you have a very little say, and you should have much say if they're paying for all of it, especially people who want to have the smooth side of the fence facing them and they want to give you the back of the fence. Those are the reasons why people will pay full amounts for the fence. And if it doesn't bother you, and now if it's really a problem that they don't want to go every other panel, like that's the standard, but some people don't want to follow it, that is the standard to create less problems in between neighbors. But like I said, some neighbors, it depends on the taste, and it only presents this problem if you both want the same side facing yourself, your property. Then that lies in a problem if you cannot find an agreement, and then that's when disputes arise, and then you end up in court. But basically, you have to consider, okay, the first line of communication is between both of you. You don't have to love your neighbor. You don't even have to get along with your neighbor. Just be civil. You know, some neighbors are not. That's why fences are fabulous, because you don't have to deal with them. And not everybody gets along with their neighbor, unfortunately. But you need your privacy, and you have the right to dwell in peace. And that's why fences are so important. Okay, so if you decided that you don't want to do anything with your fence, you do whatever you let them do whatever they want. And if they want to change it, they go ahead and change it. And they're okay about it, and they're not gonna come back and try to get money for it, because after you agreed not to pay and then you agreed not to do anything, then they went ahead and did it against your will, then they will take you to court and try to get funds for that. But you know, if you have proof that you had communication and what you stand your ground, that what you wanted to do, and they went ahead and did it, then that's something to prove to a judge. Anyhow, that's problem number one. Problem number two is also keeping up with the CC&R's restrictions based on the kind of fence material, the style, etc. that they have to follow. If you're not doing it, you have to do it if you're doing it yourself. If you're going to be doing it, make sure you get your permits from the city, that you get the CC&R's to follow the guidelines as to what side has to be facing out, and if it makes a difference or not, or if there's speculations specific for the fencing. And so those things that you have to keep in mind. So these are the things that you have to consider. It should be easy, you think, right? Just go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's and buy this part, or hire somebody and have them change it. True. But make sure you follow the law. Make sure you call the city codes. Make sure you pull your permits. It's not worth it to get ticketed for not getting the permits in advance. And follow the CC&R's call before you touch anything. That's my advice. Just follow this. Just check it out and see what he said that you need to do before you touch it. That way you protect yourself, and you know, along with your neighbor as well. You want to be in good terms, and for both of you to get satisfactory outcome. In the long run, you want to come and hunt you, and also if you want to be within the law. That's the most important part. Okay, I hope this has helped you. So remember, communication as much as you can. Sometimes it's difficult because they're so damn close that it is difficult to have legal, like, oh, you do this, I do that. So it's gonna be more informal, but regardless of that, the communication is still valid. And as to your wishes, and then follow the city code and follow the association guidelines as to how the fences, colors, materials should be. I hope this has helped you. Until next time.